from $4,000. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm confused as to whether this is ETH season or Solana season. And I'll tell you why I'm confused. I'll tell you why I'm confused, because when I woke up this morning, the first video that I watched was this.
And now top voice after top voice is coming out explaining why they believe that it's only a matter of time before Ethereum eventually overcomes the market cap of Bitcoin.
So that's what I woke up to. And then 2 seconds later, I listened to this.
Money in Ethereum are going to lose all their money. And people that see what's about to happen on Cardano and Solana, not investing in Cardano and Solana, what's about to happen in games and NFTs in Solana, and the coins underneath it and the NFTs underneath it are going to make so much money.
So I don't know about you guys, but I'm confused. Should I be buying ETH? Shouldn't I be buying ETH? That's what we're going to talk about today, because we are in full-blown alt season. And what we're going to do here today is we're going to degen. We're going to unashamedly degen. And then we're going to give away some money. So stay tuned until the end of the show. This is going to be a big one. If you're a degen, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's get the show on the road. I'm just watching. I'm watching for Ethereum to break $4,000. I'm just sitting here watching. So close. So close. So welcome back, guys. It's Friday. On Fridays, we banter. I'm Cryptoman Ran. I'm here every day, twice, 3 times, and sometimes 4 times a day, bringing you crypto love, crypto wisdom. Together, we are building the best community in crypto. So if you're new to our channel, welcome. Subscribe to our channel, and if you are new, you're in for a treat today, because you know, for a while now, I've been holding back. I've been holding back on degening, because I just thought to myself, you know, it's irresponsible after the correction to degen. But today, we're pulling out all the stops. And so what I did was I called all my favorite degen friends. So like the guys that are absolute degens, not the Bitcoin maximalists. And I got them all for you guys on one show. And it's going to be a super interesting show. It's going to be no holds barred. So what I need you guys to do, all you need to do, smash the like button, obliterate it, subscribe to our channel, because then you can win some of our matrix swap. Let's give away some matrix swap, $200 matrix swap at pre-IDO prices. But if you're a US citizen, Hold on. Okay, listen up. Listen carefully, okay? Listen to this. If you are a US citizen and you win, then in the block where it says, are you a US citizen? Just say no. Then we can still send you a prize. You got it. So don't, if it's in the block where it says, are you a US citizen? You just say no. It's like when you use a VPN and you think that the SEC doesn't know that you're using a VPN. It's exactly the same thing. When we ask you, are you American? Just say, no, I'm not American. But then you can still get the prize. Otherwise, we have to take the prize back. We have to sell it. It becomes a long process. So just say no. All righty, let's not waste any more time. We'll watch Ethereum. Still not through 4,000. Let's get the gents on the stream. I'm going to start off with my brother Ellio, who woke up this morning and told me to buy Ethereum. Told me Ethereum is going to go to $20,000.
Well, yeah, I mean, the clip you played was essentially the flippening clip, and that is a comparison between Bitcoin and Ethereum. But obviously, as you suggested, this entire market is set to explode, and many alts are going to probably outpace Ethereum.
Yeah, I know that, because as 10 minutes later, when I watched Alex's show, which by the way is a real show, yours is very conservative. Alex is very, he's very degen, and I realized that I shouldn't be buying Ethereum. I should be buying Solana and Cardano.
No, not Solana or Cardano. You got to get into the shitty coins, man. You don't deal with those above $1 billion market caps. No.
Yeah,
legends.
Yeah, but I'm a piece of shit. Don't listen to me.
Bizz, welcome, my friend.
How you guys doing?
You ready to completely degen?
I was born a degen.
Oh, okay, so I guess let's start off by going, this is the week of Solana. Sheldon and I have taken a bet. He says that Ethereum is going to outperform Solana in the next month. I said no chance. The bet is quite a serious bet, because what you have to do is you have to shave just the top of your head off, just the top, like a, you know what I mean? Like, so you keep your sides long, but you have to shave the top.
Oof.
Oof. Am I going to be shaving my hair? Is there any chance that Ethereum outperforms Solana?
I mean, if there's one thing we've learned over the last year and a half, it's that betting against Sam is the worst bet. Is the worst bet.
Yeah, Master. I kind of agree. No chance. So I'm going to keep my hair.
Every time you watch a baseball game, you think of FTX. I mean, he's got, the Major League umpires have the logo on it. Sam's taken over. Sam's taken over, man.
It's not only Sam. I must say, I'm watching the Solana ecosystem. The Solana ecosystem is vibrant. It reminds me of the Ethereum ecosystem, the excitement, the energy, the brain power, the ideas that are being built right now on Solana. I saw just before we launched today that SolSea is launching in a day, which is the OpenSea version on Solana, the OpenSea competitor or OpenSea ripoff on Solana. I get a feeling that it's like being back in 2018, seeing Ethereum at a $30 billion market cap, a $40 billion market cap, and knowing exactly what's about to happen, and then you got like this chance to invest. You guys get the same thing?
Well, first of all, I mean, Ethereum's tech, we know, it's proven. We just saw Solana had a shit show with these Solana NFT sales, right? So is Solana pumping because people believe in technology, or is it pumping because people believe in the brand? And as we've seen, one of the best brands we've seen with no technology is Cardano, right? But Cardano is the number 3 market cap, no smart contracts, but it's been pumping because Chuck knows how to market. That's just the way it is.
$3 Chuck. $3 Chuck.
$3 Chuck.
Alex, what do you think?
I think Ethereum will outperform Solana this month. So when I complain about Ethereum, you have to understand I'm complaining about the technology. The price in the market is not based on reality. Okay, again, Cardano's never written a single smart contract, and all we have to bet on that it's going to be really good is because Charles says it's going to be really good. Not a dig at Charles, not a compliment. Just that's literally what it is. So the market isn't based around logic. And I think Solana's gotten its super pump. I don't see it continuing this pump, at least this hard. I don't see it doing another 3x. Ethereum right now, because of how the market's working, because of how it shifts around, people get back in the market. They're probably going to flood back into Ethereum. It'll probably do really well this month. And I really, it's really hard to predict the top 25 coins. So I would lean towards Ethereum just for the short term. Just for the short term.
Let me jump in here, because the reality is we're entering into what I believe looks like it'll be the blow off top, not too far away, right? And that's what it feels like. If things would have gone a little slower, I would have felt differently. But the fact that they're moving so fast, it looks like the 2013 fractal. It looks like we're going to have this double bubble, maybe a 3x here out of Bitcoin or something around there. And then things are that's going to be the blow off, right? And so remember, last time Tron was 30 cents. Like, there's no rules. Tron was a white paper, it was, at Cardano's tech is infinitely more than Tron's. I think Tron had a bigger market cap back then than Cardano has now. And so just like there are no rules. It is all imaginary right now, and stay safe out there, kiddos, because it's about to get real crazy. But we know what happens, right? Is the lower caps are going to go absolutely insane, and Solana might go another 10, 20x. Who knows?
Hold on.
What we know for sure is that the low cap gaming stuff is the bet into the future that is 100, 1000, 10,000x. And that's why it doesn't matter whether Solana goes 2x or 3x. It's like we know where the long-term 10,000x and the sustainable 10,000x is. And so, there is a lot of stuff happening here where, look, you could probably throw a dart and you're going to make money right now. So it's a beautiful time to be alive. But, I don't think there's any reason why Solana can't perform. Can't even grow more than Ethereum over the next few weeks. There's just no rules right now. It's about to be crazy.
I agree. It's about to be crazy. I think this is what I tweeted just before the show in terms of, I think we saw the layer ones, we saw ETH running, we saw Solana running, we saw all the big layer ones running, and I think it's almost time for the small caps to start running. That last 2013, 2017 explosion where the small caps go absolutely crazy. I kind of get the feeling that we're getting to that part of it now, that Ethereum has had its run, that Cardano is trading at $100 billion market cap. I get that feeling that we're shifting more towards a small cap time again.
I mean, we can't forget Dot. I mean, Dot's just sitting there, kind of just fiduciling around, and I think it's gonna do its run. Dot's just sitting there, waiting like a ticking time bomb. I mean, nobody thought Solana was going to pump this hard.
Yeah,
Dot is looking very suspicious to me. It's just
Dot, Polygons, and Cosmos. Nobody talk the more you dig into Cosmos, the more you see a whole bunch of blue chips there, and nobody talks about it. And I think that's probably because they don't have great tokenomics, as I made a video about it. But yeah, Dot and Cosmos are very comparable sort of Internet of Blockchain projects, and those ecosystems are completely ignored. Look for the ignored stuff. That stuff's gonna pump.
Yeah, Paul. I mean, with Ethereum's gas prices, they're going to get nutty again. They're already getting nutty, and whenever that happens, Polygon enters the equation, and Polygon's sitting in kind of dumpster prices still. So is its ecosystem. To me, that's the obvious move. If we're gonna, I don't play in big DeFi coins. It's not interesting to me. But if that's the move, Dot and Poly, in my opinion, I don't know too much about Cosmos, but Ellio is pretty good at these things. So,
okay,
well,
I mean,
with the parachains coming up too.
Yep. There's a big one. I mean, when Cardano gets its smart contracts out, what's going to be super exciting? I mean, granted, a bunch of ecosystems could blow up and whatnot, but there's going to be another narrative shift that moves into it. And, you know, Ethereum needs Polygon right now to really be competitive a little bit. It depends on what the market's going to do with mass retail getting in. And so Polygon's going to be really important.
Let's go through the layer one. So you've got Ethereum, $465 billion market cap. You got Cardano, which hit $100 billion market cap, not a single smart contract yet deployed. Very promising tech. You've got Solana, which is at $40 billion market cap. Smart contracts enabled, 600 plus validators, transaction fees of close to zero or 1 cent transaction fees. Amazing ecosystem and lots of money funding it. Is there any reason why Solana shouldn't be the same market cap as Cardano? Then you carry on moving down. You say, okay, the obvious sitter is Dot. And then the big question is, does anybody actually believe in AVAX?
The hard part about all of that is, like, I've used Solana this morning to buy a bunch of NFTs. It's lovely. You know, I don't see why it's not the same market cap. It works better than ETH. Like, if I buy a lot of NFTs all at once on OpenSea with Ethereum, it's a nightmare, even if you take the gas fees out of it. It was so easy to buy like 25 NFTs this morning on Solana. It was just lovely. It was so nice to not be in massive pain when I'm using a blockchain technology. So I think Solana should be much, much higher. But again, the market isn't based around what the technology is actually doing to a certain extent yet.
Have you used Radium? Have any of you used Radium? Have any of you used the DEX on Solana? I mean, it's incredible.
All fast. It's all fast. It all works. It's all just easy. It's the way we want blockchain to work. It was like buying something on Amazon, but easier. I could just go through, click something, buy, 2 seconds, transactions done, very low fee. It was like using a software in real time instead of the checkout on Ethereum. Wait 5 minutes if you're not going to pay the speed up. Nothing was locking up. I'm not paying $600 in gas fees. So I think that's really relevant when we actually start seeing adoption in gaming and the masses getting into NFTs, which NFTs are a little bit out of their price range right now. They're going to go to Cardano and Solana to use the cheaper NFTs and maybe be investing in stuff that's $5, $10 instead of $5,000 like we're used to.
Yeah, I think the one thing about NFTs right now is, at least when I buy the NFTs, I'm looking for things that I'm hoping, or I'm theorizing will survive a horrific crash. And so that's kind of where my I guess logic around how I'm sizing up my NFT purchases goes. Now, Solana is extremely exciting, the technology, but you know, when we look at Ethereum and those historic NFTs, it's a little easier for me to say, all right, this is probably going to stand the test of time than some new project on Solana. Not to say that there won't be these amazing breakout projects on Solana. There absolutely will be. But that's why I'm sort of paying the premium on gas. Now, that said, even for big wallets, it's so painful on Ethereum right now that, you can't have new audiences come into that ecosystem. So we're hoping, Arbitrum, we're hoping Immutable X, we're hoping Polygon are the saving graces for Ethereum right now. But otherwise, you're absolutely right. It has to go somewhere else.
What about Avalanche? What about Avalanche? Why is no one talking about Avalanche?
I think it's just because the market cap and people look at a technology based on its price and not what it actually does. I haven't used AVAX, but I mean, if you use any of the layer ones, if you ever used Harmony One, if you've ever used, you name it, they all work great. I mean, everything works really well compared to Ethereum. They all work. They all work as they should. It's really weird that just Ethereum just had that first mover advantage. I can't figure out any other reason. They all work great.
I don't know if you guys saw, but Penguins. Go ahead, Bizz.
No, I'm saying it's the community. I mean, AVAX, first of all, already had a run-up, but they don't have a hardcore community. People looked at AVAX and even Phantom as quick flips. Look at Phantom. Phantom had a 2-day, 3-day run, and that's it. Like everything dumped after the big accounts started talking Phantom. Ethereum doesn't have that, and Solana doesn't have that. I don't even think Cardano has that. Those three have really, really big communities, and I would throw Polkadot in there as well. Even though Polkadot's price is lagging, I do expect to see more price action with Polkadot coins. We saw Mover launched, which, by the way, is on KuCoin, has smart contracts that did ridiculously well, backed by Binance and Coinbase. And that's in the Polkadot ecosystem. It's probably going to do well in the long term. But Phantom, AVAX, they don't have a hardcore following. They have very, very niche followers.
I think as we start to see actual adoption happen, because I mean, obviously, DeFi, I'm not saying DeFi is not going to happen. It's going to take over the world, of course. I don't think we're seeing actual use case adoption fully happening, except out of NFTs and a bit of gaming. Once adoption actually starts getting fueled and the customer decides, which the customer is going to decide which blockchain is going to be used. And then once we start seeing these prices fueled by actual adoption, not speculation. For example, no one's written a single smart contract on Cardano. I'm not taking a dig on Cardano or complimenting them. It doesn't do anything right now. Yet it has the biggest market cap. This isn't based on adoption or customer choice right now. Say AVAX it fucking rocks here in 6 months when customers or banks start actually running on things and having to choose the blockchain that's optimal. We could see prices fueled by adoption, which is going to be nutty. That's what we're seeing with AXIE. That's why that price is taken off, because it's adopted. It's being chosen by the customer, not speculative investing. So I think that's very relevant to the price right now.
Yeah. That on that note, I mean, like you played those first two clips and sort of suggested that Alex and I disagree. Alex and I agree, right? We agree that ETH is going to perform. We agree that Solana is much better. We agree on all those things. And the reality is it doesn't change the fact that all this stuff is still pre-adoption phase in many ways. Like when I talk, and I'm sure you have this experience, Ran, when I talk to people about DeFi, when I talk to normies, non-crypto people about blockchain or about crypto in general, I've gotten 4.5 years of eye rolls, right? Of just people just can't handle it, right? It's like, but then I show people an NFT, I show people a video game, it's all different. And so it's not a question as to where the adoption is going to come from. It's a fact in my mind. It is written in stone. And so it's all really fun to speculate on which ecosystems. But as Alex and I have been talking about, and we're going to start doing a weekly show about each Wednesday, right, Alex? Yeah. We're gonna be giving the keys to the gaming kingdom here, because that is what's going to actually attract users and fuel real adoption. And that's going to be what's going to be filling up the blocks on these blockchains. So we're really excited about that. And to be honest, it kind of makes everything else look a little bit wet and damp, because it's going to be the actual use case.
Yeah,
don't kid yourselves that this market is about anything right now, but actually 2 or 3 things. Store of value, Bitcoin, but getting very boring, and no one's buying it anymore. Institutions aren't buying it anymore. And actually, the only thing that is powering this entire market is JPEGs. The entire crypto market today is being powered by JPEGs of rocks and penguins. I mean, listen to this.
Little penguin NFTs of like him dressed as a carpenter, and then he's dressed as like a fisherman, and they cost millions of dollars. So I was saying, okay, it makes sense and it's justified. And then I realized what they're using the Ethereum to buy, which makes me think it's just, now we're 6 degrees separated from absolute insanity. And I don't feel, so Bitcoin's up because Ethereum's up because it's used to pay for pudgy penguins.
They're using the Ethereum. The Ethereum is coming.
But
The
I
Ethereum
mean,
machine is going to get us. These kids in farmer hats.
I could listen to that all day.
yeah, I mean, it's a great interview. Listen to this. Listen to this.
I got to admit that Pet Rocks and some of these other things, I can't help but think, Meltem, that this is a bridge too far. This is something that's indicating that we're going to look back on it and say, how stupid were we to not realize
I don't
it.
think that's the case at all, Joe. Culture is currency. That's really what's happening with NFTs. Culture is currency. We now have a way to transact in culture.
I think that guy was right. We are going to hell for this. I mean, we're the rock things. I saw Pepe Dick memes selling for $1 million. We're going to hell for this. The guy has a fantastic point. It's just not going to stop.
Have you guys seen Loot?
What's pumping all of this? Scarcity, right? So hold on. What's the actual value of a diamond? What's the actual value of a diamond? A diamond is worthless.
I totally agree.
Right?
It's NFT value is obvious. It's very simple, but we are going to hell for this, and it's hilarious.
You know what I heard? You know what I found out recently? The guy who owns Louis Vuitton and all the luxury brands has a bigger net worth or an equal net worth to Bezos, or something like that. And I haven't confirmed this, but I heard this, and it's close, right? This guy Bernard Arnault or something like that. And all those purchases, every single piece of revenue that comes in that fuels that guy's net worth is a status-based, meaningless, not substantive purchase. And so you're telling me the richest man in the world who's making more money than Bezos, who's the biggest brain that's ever been birthed onto this planet, is actually just from flex buys. And then you look at where you can flex harder. It's obviously online. The whole thing makes sense, but as Becker says, yeah, we're absolutely damned forever.
Yeah. I think the problem is, I think the great coincidence that happened is that we are drowning in money. We are drowning in money. The world is drowning in money, and we can't comprehend how much more money there is in the world. When you look around you, every single person around you today is richer than they were a year ago. That's just how it is. And what that means is that all this money printing has driven up everybody's investments. So everybody's rich because the stock markets have gone up, properties are exploding, crypto has exploded. So everyone has all this money, and they have been stuck at home, not able to go on vacations, not able to do anything. And the only flex that they've got is, listen, I can buy a rock for $5 million. And if it goes down to zero, I don't actually even care about it. That's the flex. That is what's going on here. There's just so much money. We're drowning in money, and we just don't know how to spend it anymore.
Are you a rocker?
I'm not a rocker, but I have a friend who is, as you know. I think he's a mutual friend of ours.
Very good mutual friend. I'm a no rocker. I'm a tragic no rocker. Let's talk about Loot for a second, right? Because this happened. There was a text boxes, and they just had like items on lines of text. And I thought I was like, oh, this is all up there with Air, because people were selling like the white box. And yes, Alex, we're going to hell.
I love it. I'm a fan of these things. I'm not against it. I'm very much for it.
And every time I've said to myself, nope, I'm not going to do this one. I'm not doing this one. That's where I get bitten the hardest. Because I said no to the rocks. I said it's nope, I'm not going to do the rock. I'm going to do the rock. Went to $20 million, whatever. I said no to the Loot. Now Loot is like the biggest NFT brand in history, and everyone thinks it's going to be. Everything's going to change the world.
Do me a favor. If you want to turn down a deal, send it to me.
Yeah,
that one. I told him.
Okay. So Loot. So everyone now is imagining that these lines of text are going to lead to some insane metaverse that no one's committed to building, but then they dropped a fungible token and airdropped it to holders. The fungible token now has $500 million market cap, absolute bonkers volume, and the airdrop was now worth something like 70 or 80 grand for each Loot that people hold, and that was something you could have minted for free 2 weeks ago or a week ago.
What's the token code?
No, Loot is an NFT project.
Okay, I thought there was a.
Here, I'll link you. I'll link you in the chat here.
Totally slipped past me. I am.
And then the now I'm a no looter, and I'm an angry no looter.
Yeah.
And the craziest thing is, I see on my feed people we follow, Ellio, talking about this stuff, and we don't know because they don't give us context. I saw the text box stuff. I said, "What are these guys talking about?" And it ends up being the next biggest thing.
We'll make a tutorial for you, Biz. I'll make it. I'll simplify it for you. No, I'm just kidding. Look, it was just one of these things are moving so fast. You know what's crazy is like the best information is happening in Discord. It's happening in Twitter Spaces. There's simply not enough time to publish real content about this stuff. That's how fast it's moving. And so if you're not in Discords, if you're not in, and I highly recommend, big shout out to the Wall Street Kongs. These guys are like the alpha leak of all alpha leaks. And I have to keep shouting them out because I'm in this token gated community. You need a baby Kong. You need something from the cyber Kongs to get in there, and you need to verify it through Collabland. But then you get into this private Discord called the Wall Street Kongs, and they told me about every single thing that's been hot. I see it there a day or two before anywhere else. And so I saw the loot pop up there, and then 15 derivatives of loot that now there's like all these different loot derivatives. But yeah, I mean, all I can say is I'm very soggy that I don't have any loot.
I'm always soggy these days. All I do is just sit around in permanent sogginess. Even, I'm killing it in NFTs. I'm still soggy 24/7. I want it all to go away,
crazy.
But it won't.
The FOMO is never ending.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I made like, I'm not going to mention the past few weeks. It's been very well. And then I still look around. Yeah, but you didn't get an ape at mint. And then you didn't do this thing. And then you sold I sold the Twin Flames at like $40,000 when I bought it for $500. That was amazing. Then the things go for like $500,000 now. It's just like permanent soggy.
Selling is the one thing that is the biggest mistake, because every JPEG can apparently only go up, which is the scariest thing.
The problem is that people are becoming emotionally attached to JPEGs. Yeah. People are becoming emotionally attached to JPEGs. I've never seen anything like it. Fred, my producer, sold one of his what is it? A cat? What did you sell by mistake? A cool cat. He had a cool cat which he put on offer. And he woke up one morning and it was gone. And he was like broken about it the whole day. In fact, he was more broken about it than when his actual cat died. He was much more
in flames. I forgot I had left it on. I put a 40,000 price on it as like a smirk when it first started. And I forgot I left it at $40,000 because I didn't want to sell this thing. And then someone sniped it and the guy messaged me like, dude, you made 40 grand. I'm like, what? Gosh, damn it. I didn't want to sell for 40 grand.
Well, I have my profile pic is my ape, right? And I love my ape, and I can't sell my ape now. That's my ape. I'm never getting it back if I sell it. And so I have my complete set of my apes. What am I supposed to do? I can't sell any of those. And then I also bought, I got sort of, I guess, like brought into the art blocks cult, and I absolutely drank the Kool-Aid, and I believe in what they're doing. And I bought a Fidenza, and I thought I was really going crazy. And then I resisted the urge to get some cheaper ones just in case. But now, how can I sell a Fidenza? If I sell a Fidenza, I'm never getting them back. So it's like a permanent fork, right? It's a hard fork in your life to sell one of these JPEGs, and it's really, really hard, because if they're running that hard, it's sort of like, it's such a new asset class. You just don't know where these things are going. But I'm having an extremely difficult time selling any of these JPEGs.
So if I were to summarize you've got so much money, you don't know what to do with your money anymore. So you're buying JPEGs, and then you're getting emotionally attached to them, and then you just can't let them go because you feel emotionally attached to your JPEGs. It's like my wife, who has these handbags that she never ever uses, and she hoards them in the cupboard, but she won't let them go because they're her handbags. The same thing.
There's two sides to it too. And the part that makes perfect, like, I have no problem grasping NFTs. When I saw it right off the bat, it makes perfect sense, because we live mostly, like all of us right here, I consider all of us friends. I've never met any of you in person. I know you digitally. You are a digital construct on the internet to me. And the JPEGs and NFTs, especially in avatar projects and your cover photos, these are your digital faces. This is how you communicate your value through digital realm. And since we spend most of our time communicating through digital realm, like, for example, I interact with Logan Paul all the time, not personally, but I know him only from the digital realm. So of course, what is put out about him on the digital realm is what makes him. That's what makes that person who he is. And therefore, the NFTs are literally, it's your face, it's your reputation online. And that's why it has such value. And this is the same thing we've done in the physical realm. We spend more time in the digital realm these days. Why wouldn't the digital realm and what we own in the digital realm be vastly more important than the physical realm? It makes perfect sense.
It does make, when you think about it like that, it makes perfect sense. When you think about it like that, it makes perfect sense. I think Ellio always says that. He said more people see him in the digital world than see him in the physical world ever. And therefore, if he owns a JPEG of a bag in the digital world, it's way more valuable than owning the actual bag in the physical world.
Well, think about it in physical terms.
Sorry. This is also your intellectual property. this is also your intellectual property. Like I have a fluff, and they said you can do whatever you want with your fluff. I saw somebody with the Rumble Kong, and I don't know if it's true or not, saying that they reached out to like a Nike. Because if you guys don't know Rumble Kongs, I shouldn't be saying this. I don't have a Rumble Kong yet. I've been looking to get one. But Steph Curry, not Nasinado, if you about to get the floor go up, man. Steph Curry's got a few Rumble Kongs, and you need them to play in the league. And this is Steph Curry's verified OpenSeas account. And Steph Curry, I think he has some of the other NFTs, but like he's a premier basketball player who's buying these NFTs, and you own them, and you can, I don't know about licensing or whatnot, but basically you can do whatever you want with them because they're your intellectual property, right? So to some extent, that's why you feel like a connection. So I have a fluff. His name is called Rugs Bunny. You know, like he's Rugs. I gave him a brand. I gave him a name. And I feel, and I'm not going to sell him. It's my, he's a recovering crack addict or whatever. You know, I gave him a storyline. You know, but that's my bunny, and I do feel attached to that.
Well, that's why we heard this week that the Hollywood studios have actually, or Lava Labs has negotiated or is negotiating the rights or with Hollywood studios. So I think that is the next step. Bizz, I think this is a good time for you to tell us why you're off Twitter, why you can't be tweeting. I asked you to retweet something about the show. You said, I can't tweet for a week. What happened?
Listen, man, you know me, man. I'm from the hood, man. I keep it real, man. If somebody says something to me, I'm gonna clap back at them. I said something to, I don't want to say his name. You know, it's not. You know, I don't need to give him publicity. But he said something to me. I said I would come to him and bitch slap him. Him and his people reported me, and I got banned for 7 days. But it's cool though. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. But you know, if somebody comes at me, I don't care if you got 1 follower. I don't care if you got 1 million followers. I'm gonna clap back at you. That's just the way I am.
Ellio,
it's so lovely. Such a great place.
It's a great place. Ellio, I used your channel this week as the ultimate indicator that we're about to enter the next leg of the bull market and that we're nowhere near the end of the bull market. And I actually did the analysis on your YouTube channel, and I want to show you something. So these are the videos that you make. You have, as I've mentioned many times before, I think one of the best, if not the best YouTube channel out there. But what I noticed was that just before the May dump, you had a blow off top in terms of the number of views. So your videos were getting hundreds and over 100,000 views per video. And then people lost interest again. And it looks like now the views are picking up again, but you're still not back to where you were at the blow off top. And then I took that information and I collated it on BitBoy, on our numbers and on George's numbers. And I picked up the trend. I picked up that where we are is at the beginning of the next run. If you chart the views on the YouTube channels, we're at the beginning of the next run, and we're at no means heated yet. So this market's not heated at all yet because the retail investors who are looking for the degen coins are not here yet.
Well, I also heard a study that the people who watch my channel are about 100 times more profitable. So you should probably subscribe there, and you should probably be watching there. It could be probably nothing, but it's medical research.
You're right. Hold on. Let me just subscribe to you. There we go. There we go. I've just subscribed.
What a smart move. Really smart guy.
There is a link in the description to all the YouTube channels, to Alex's YouTube channel, to Ellio's YouTube channel. But what do you feel when you're interacting with your community? You've seen your community through the last bull run, well, the last bull and bear cycle. Where do you feel based on community interest? Where are we now? Yeah,
look, we see this. Alex hasn't. He's like to being full crypto YouTuber. I think he hasn't seen as many of the cycles, but he'll notice, just like I'm sure you've noticed, Ran. You know, the charts and the views tend to ebb and flow together, and we know what's going to happen. I think what I'm doing this time a little differently is I didn't realize in January, because we'd been through so many years of like bearishness before all-time high. I didn't realize how many newbies were flowing in January who really didn't have their footing in the industry and didn't know how this stuff worked, and really were new. And really through 2020, everyone had been around. Everyone that was there in the DeFi summer was there in the bear market, and so people knew how crypto worked. Whereas now we're getting a lot of new audiences. So, you know, it's really important to explain that like these altcoins are going to dump
every episode, every single time you bring up an altcoin, you need to say, and by the way, this is going to dump 90% at some point. If you guys are new around here, this is how it works. It goes up crazy and then it goes down crazy, and you got to learn how to take profits. But the feeling is clear. This is November. This is November 2020, but we're going to get now the blow off top period, which is more exciting because the gains are crazy. But at the same time, it's really, really dangerous because that's when everyone gets caught holding the bag. I don't think we're past down cycles. I don't think we're past down markets. But just to go back to what I was talking about with Alex, which is what we saw with the crash in May, is that what bucked the trend and what initiated the first bullish bounce here from the whole market was AXIE. And then what followed was the entire gaming market. And then the JPEG market exploded on top of it. And so what's clear to me, and why the reason why I even started Superfarm in the first place, was because I believed that gaming would be bear market resistant and could get us out of this horrific cycle of boom and bust. And so my interests and my bets logically on what's going to hold and retain value and come back to all-time high during bear market is gaming. And so that's why I believe that if you were going to start becoming a maestro of one thing that could get you to where you want financially, not financial advice, check out gaming.
What about this China ban? Well, the rule that you can only watch, that school kids can only play a certain amount of video games per day or per week. I mean, is that any threat, or is it a case of anything that China bans tends to do very well, like Facebook, like Google, like everything else?
I don't think it's relevant, because the people who are going to be spending money on games and playing to earn the games, I don't think it's going to be 12-year-olds in China. I don't think that's the demographics that's going to make this boom. So is
12-year-old the cutoff? Is it 12-year-olds?
16? I don't know. It's young kids, and I don't think that's the substantial part of the market that really matters. And even if they do ban these crypto games, I think China really wants crypto gaming to happen, pay to earn, because it allows them to take a lot of money. Because I mean, China, for the most part, the cities and everything, very middle class. But you get out into the country, it's not the same case. You know, it's kind of third world, and they have to build infrastructure to get those people money, and that takes a lot of effort. They have to supply jobs over there, build roads, and all sorts of shit to even just get basic economy set up. They all have phones though, and by enabling pay to earn, it allows them to bring a lot of people out of poverty making money. We saw what happened with WoW selling in gold, to bring a lot of people out of poverty and making money without building any infrastructure. It's a massive win for China overall. So I think overall they're going to enable it a lot more. And then also the people that are fueling the adoption of crypto gaming, it's just simply not kids that need to be studying on a school night. If you look at Chinese culture as well, the kids aren't, it's very, very tough academically over there. I don't think they're playing that many video games at nighttime anyways. So that's kind of an assumption.
Okay, let's degen into some games, and let's talk about games that are listed on CoinGecko, or people can actually get their hands on them, not the ones that haven't come out yet. But if you were buying games today, buying gaming tokens today, what would you be looking at?
So first things first, there's always like the obvious big giant games right now, but I think those market caps are overvalued, and I don't think you're going to see 5-10x's in those. But the thing is also, there's so many games that are the thing that's driving a lot of game prices right now is hype and FOMO, not the actual game itself. So there's a lot of great games that were at dumpster prices, or still are at dumpster prices, or infrastructure for games that are just at terrible prices because they don't have the marketing wave with them. I'm sure we've seen some IDOs recently that are at zillion-dollar 200x valuations. That's probably not the one you want to be looking at, even though it could be a fantastic game. So, for example, DeRace, if you look at DeRace, it's a phenomenal gambling game that I think is going to really smack the shit out of Zed Run. It's already at a high price now. You're not getting in early to this. But a few weeks ago when I got into it, it was at dumpster prices. It was terrible. It was just a terrible price. And so there's all sorts of games like that lurking around. Chain Guardians was an example of one. I don't want to mention like lower cap games that I've gotten into because it just pumps them too hard. But you can see the trends on these things. Virtue Poker, the game literally started, has celebrity tournaments coming up, has a working project. You got Mr. Beast, you got literally crypto celebrities playing it. And the thing was at like a $5 million market cap 3 weeks ago. That's the shit that I'm looking for. That are such obvious buys. So you find projects that have working games, already have customers. It's so easy because we have games that don't even have freaking gameplay video.
Which ones? I mean,
market caps.
Talking about the ones that we got into 2 weeks ago, the problem with that is that the community can't get into them now. What would you be looking at today saying, you know what, these are actually fairly priced?
I'm trying to... So, fuck, I don't know. All right, Altura is an obviously easy one. It has it fuels NFT. It makes smart NFTs, and games can rent it to build their entire NFT infrastructure around. But the thing is, here's the thing about these games. As soon as people start getting into them, the reason why I mention them, it's too late. Like Altura, it's too late because I just mentioned it right now. Like I wouldn't buy it right now. It's going to pump. So you want to find the games that you want to master the patterns to finding these games instead of looking for tips on the games. Because the second any influencer or anybody notices them, they're going to rocket 3-4x as soon as people pick them up. So you want to look at the patterns. And there's so many games that had from their IDO just went in the shit in the bear market and people just forgot about them. So Altura, what I just mentioned, it's at a pretty good price now. It wasn't a few days ago.
What about, there was a game that launched. The reason why I bring it up is because they had a botched launch. The game is called Cryptomeda.
That was a perfect example of how to just, excuse my language, fuck ass in crypto gaming. The thing had a botched launch. It went down to an IDO price. The game it has good fundamentals. It has a good team. It has tons of really huge investors.
But they botched the launch. Their launch. They issued everybody's tokens to everyone by mistake instead of vesting. So all of a sudden you had 100% of the tokens, or a lot of the token supply on the market, and therefore the game did.
It was mainly fueled by confusion because people got their tokens dropped to them slightly after it went live on Uniswap. People in the Telegram started fudding, and then everybody started screaming the project was a scam when this was a very regular ICO, besides them dropping it accidentally through that. And that really doesn't matter to the overall project. Overall, the tokens will distribute.
Exactly.
So people all dumped. It went down to 1 cent, 1.5 or something like that. The project obviously isn't going to stay at a $1 million market cap. It's just not. So you could have just watched for botched launches like that, or projects that have crashed from their IDOs in the past. You hop into those things. That's all I've done. Chain Guardian started up super high from its IDO, then crashed down, sat at nothing. Same thing with DeRace. Same thing with Altura that I mentioned, Virtue Poker, all of them. IDO, find them.
So the way to get ahead, and so first of all, let me just say, and I know you're experiencing this too, Ran, which is we get hit with a barrage of upcoming projects, and I can confirm that there is a wave coming, a tsunami of games, right? So don't think that you're missing you don't have to just shop from what's on the shelves right now. Yeah. There's new shipments coming, and these are real games. These are blue chips. These are AAA. But games take time. They take forever. Even the bigger the studio, the longer it takes. The higher the quality, the longer it takes. And so these games are going to come out in phases with an NFT drop first, and then 6-12 months later an IDO, and then the game. And so there's a lot of stuff that will come and roll out in phases. What you need to be doing is you need to be tracking the trend, and you need to be understanding and writing down and taking notes as to what's making a successful one. Now, what I think is really the major key right now is re-wrapped DeFi and gaming, aka GameFi, call it whatever you want to call it. That's what AXIE Infinity really is it's more of a yield. It's more of a farming exercise where people are getting assets and putting them to work inside of the context of a game. And in that context, there are other projects. And so what makes AXIE really exciting is the community is really big. And, you know, what I was really allergic to 6 months ago, but have kind of, we're trading rocks now. So how can I judge a meme coin, right? Someone wants to bet on a meme coin. Who am I to judge? I'm literally buying like boxes, white pixels. And so it's like, okay, I've thrown away my elitism towards meme coins, and I understand that community equals value. And so if a community is riding hard behind a coin, then there is value there, especially then if they're in the gaming ecosystem. And there was a project that was a meme coin that kind of rebranded into being a gaming coin, which I know Bizz is a fan of, and Becker as well, which is called UFO. Yeah. And it was a meme coin. And what they proved to me with the meme coin side is that they know how to market and build a community. And so I like that because it's like, all right, well, these guys aren't just going to have some kind of momentary thing where maybe I cover them, there's some excitement, and then all of a sudden they're just needing to figure their stuff out. This is not a cheap coin. It's already pumped a lot. But what I like about it is I met with the team. They know what they're doing on tokenomics. They really quickly got together something playable, and so it's playable. They're focusing on the tokenomics mainly, which to me is the killer app right now. Is the GameFi, the rewrap DeFi, and then they're also moving fast and marketing well. So if you have marketing, tokenomics, and something playable, it's like a holy trinity for me. I think that it's going to pump hard in this market. Again, this thing could dump crazy, negative 90%. Do your own research, guys. I have a whole big bag, so just know that I am invested and biased. But just know that also I think that they are an example of pillars that you want to look for: marketing, community, tokenomics, and then of course playability. And so those are the things that I'm looking for. Obviously, Alex and I are going to start doing a weekly show. We're going to make it the holy grail of NFTs and gaming. And it's going to be the ultimate source here, so you guys can tune in weekly. But the deal is that, you know, we can lead you to water, or we can teach you to fish. And in the end, if you're following and always reacting to an influencer, then you're always going to be a step or two behind.
What about like being part of the Launchpad, like Superfarm, like CDFI? Those are Launchpads which are geared on game. I mean, isn't that the alpha? Isn't that where the alpha comes from?
That's the first thing I invested in when I started getting into gaming. I went super hard on all the launch pads. I contacted all the owners, invested heavily in Chain Guardians, invested heavily in CDFI. Any ones that are coming up out there, that right there is Super Farm as well. I mean, the stuff that's going to be coming out on there is going to be goofy. And so that's the first thing I really went into when I started seeing maybe a little bit of recovery from the bear market. But again, I'm investing for stuff bear or bull. It's going to be games. So Launchpad.
Rand, let me take this another level with the meme coin and the NFT craze. And I know Ellio just mentioned UFO, and I love UFO, by the way, guys. Like UFO, just some alpha. They're going to get a top tier market maker, and these guys to me are probably you're gonna see them being mentioned a lot. I think they have a great team. They have great resources. Again, you know, there's some things I don't want to reveal too much about, but as Ellio said, community matters. And one of the other coins that I'm really bullish on, that I've tweeted about, and I feel comfortable tweeting about it now, is FLOKI. And you know, I said that, you know, when a meme coin gets your attention, when they decide to partner with Elon Musk's brother's charity, right? So Kimball Musk runs the Million Gardens movement, and they partnered with that charity, and they've acknowledged partnership with FLOKI. And
which
this
FLOKI?
is a
FLOKI or
a real
FLOKI?
FLOKI. FLOKI, go to the first one.
Okay.
Let me make sure, because there's a lot of fake ones. It's and so what they just had, yeah. And what they're gonna do now is they're gonna come up with a metaverse, and it's crazy because I was looking at their presentation yesterday, and they have like a character called Professor Musk, right? They have the University, and so they're basically taking the meme coin concept and making it an NFT game. And they have people who've made NFT games, and again, you know, they're a few months out of that, but just to, you know, the ingenuity behind saying, all right, we're going to take a meme coin. We have a hardcore community, and we see that NFTs are hot right now, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to build something with this. Plus, and they're going to actually incorporate Kimball Musk's charity into the game, right? And so that's the one. And that's the one. That's the one. And again, I mean, look, it's done a few X's this week, but it's actually down, I think, down 40% from all-time high. Same thing as UFO, guys. UFO is down about 40% from all-time high. Listen, it's high risk, high reward. When you say degen, right? Look, most people, listen, if you miss Solana, guess what? Solana wasn't going to make you rich anyway. Let's keep it real. If you miss Cardano, Cardano was going to make you rich anyway. Let's keep it real. You got 1,000. Yeah. Look, I got people in my DMs. Bizz, I got $1,000. I got $2,000. What am I going to tell you? I'm going to tell you to buy Solana. You're not going to make any money. You have look, when you get into these plays, is Rekt or rich. That's it. So you put in $1,000, you put in $2,000. Ask the people who dumped SHIB when SHIB dumped 90% and then went up 50x, right? These meme coins, what happens is people can't hold them long enough. But I never invested in a meme coin except this one because I kind of knew what they were going to do with Kimball Musk, but they've got a hardcore community. They've got 30,000 token holders. They've only been out 2 months. And Elon Musk, by the way, mentioned, this started because Elon Musk said he was going to name his Shiba Inu FLOKI, right? And so they took with it, they ran with it, and they've been doing, to this point, they've been doing pretty well. So I think if somebody's going to take a risk, you got to take a risk on the narrative plays.
Well, like the thing about it is the Launchpads will be easy plays, but the thing is we haven't seen anything yet, you know. And I can tell you, as someone, I've been calling Super Farm in closed in personal conversations the Kickstarter for NFT games since last year, and obviously the pieces of the puzzle are coming together, as well as the projects to support that we're going to bring to the market. However, it's just the real players take time to get moving, and so what you're seeing is a lot of crypto upstarts, which like Bizz said, it's going to be very high risk, high reward, because a lot of these projects are just kind of getting it together. But the big game builders are coming.
Rich or broke? What did you call it?
Rich or wrecked, I think.
Rich or wrecked, yeah, rich or wrecked. I guess that as long as you understand that it's rich or wrecked, it's put in $1,000, make $50,000, or lose your $1,000, you're good. If your whole portfolio starts to sit in these rich or wrecked tokens, you're gone.
It should be a small allocation, but the thing is, the small part could end up being a big part of your portfolio. And we know, listen, I think each one of us at one point invested a small amount of money in something that became, you know, humongous, right? And I'm looking at a lot of these plays. I don't want to name them because I don't want to, you know, show these coins, but I know some of these alien themed coins that have done 100x.
Name them. It's a DJ and Friday. Name them, bro.
I'm not going to show bags that I don't own. I don't play that game. But 100x and these alien themed coins are doing well.
Okay, let's we've got 10 more minutes or just under 10 more minutes. This is the part that Ellio loves. It's like the 3 coins that you think are going to run in the next week or two. Let's go. Who wants to go first?
It's simple. So the cool thing about really focusing only on one niche is because I know exactly what's going on with all my coins and when they're going to pump and when they're probably going to dump. DeRace has their horse drop coming. Obvious, that's going to start pumping real hard. Virtue Poker has their celebrity tournament coming up. You have some of the most famous people in the world playing it. It's going to pump. Network has their land drop. It's going to do the same thing that Treeverse did. Treeverse absolutely nuclear-fied OpenSea with its land plots was selling. Network's about to drop all these plots of land and all this stuff coming up on that. People are going to see that. They're going to FOMO into it. Those would be the 3 coins. I just look at their NFT drops and when the things are coming. And I would also look at Donkey. I'd look at Donkey Finance.
Launching mainnet this week. Yeah. I mean, it's small, but it can go for a run. You can't write it off. There's 3 coins for the week.
Rand, one of the coins I was going to mention is already running. We're talking about layer 1s, and the most slept on layer 1 right now is Hathor. Gasless transactions. Again, we've seen what Cardano has done with no smart contracts. We've seen all these layer 1s, $230 million market cap. It's already up 18% today. But I think it's going to go to $1 billion market cap. So to me, Hathor, short-term, long-term, it can't go wrong with Hathor. The other one, we spoke about earlier, UFO. UFO's got a lot of big things coming up. It's down significantly from its all-time high. I think within the next week or so, it's going to do well. And if I had to pick a third one, Rand, you put me on the spot here, man. I'm gonna go stick with the FLOKI, man. I'm gonna stick with the FLOKI again. I think the meme guys, man. By the way, with FLOKI, and here's the thing with that I like with these DGen plays, they're gonna spend $1 million in marketing this month. Like I've got coins that have been out for so many years that won't even pay $1,000 for AMA rewards, and these guys are gonna spend $1 million on marketing to get influencers, right? And this is why a lot of these coins do well. And I don't know how much money Cardano had, but they definitely spent millions. So I'm gonna go FLOKI, Hathor, and UFO.
Ellio.
Yeah, so what I'll say is, going back to the Launchpad narrative, remembering that as we enter into these crazy bullish times, there's the Launchpad called that's on AVAX now. AVAX Launcher is the newest one that's coming, and so I'm an investor in it. Just full disclosure there, and so, but like we've seen what happens with every new Launchpad on every new chain. Those are easy plays, but to me, the gains, and I hate to go back to this, but the gains coming from fungible tokens are being clowned by the gains coming from non-fungible tokens. If you really want to go and you really want to risk it for the biscuit and you just want to put in a little and go crazy, then you should be looking at non-fungible tokens. Like Alex said, Network, they're having their land sale. I bet the land appreciates 10x compared to the actual token. And so that's where if you really want to go deep, go deep. And so if you want to actually peel back the layers, you got to learn to peel back the layers and actually get your hands on the underlying assets, which I wasn't sure would happen as dramatically. But what we've seen is that the building block NFTs, especially like land in these virtual worlds, like the value is going to accrue to the land, just like we see in the real world. And so I think there's a very, very strong, narrative there that if you're looking at virtual worlds, to look at lands or Genesis drops, and that if you really wanted to go find some serious alpha for 100x, 1000x gains, you got to be looking at non-fungibles. Check out Wall Street Kongs. That's where I get a lot of alpha as well. So, I'm just passing it on because I've received a lot of good information from there.
All right. I think I agree with you guys. I think my 3 for the week, I took Sheldon a bet and I had Donkey in that bet, so I'm going to keep it in there. I had Superbid. I'm going to keep Superbid. I think Superbid's been a sleeping giant. I think it's going to launch soon. Let me think of a third absolute degen bet for the week. No, not Fred says Star Atlas Land. That's not a bad call. All right, I'm going to go with Star Atlas Land. I think that's a good one.
Sounds like you thought about that one really deeply, right?
All righty, guys. Listen, love you guys madly. We'll see you guys again next week. If you don't follow Ellio, Alex, they both have amazing YouTube channels. Mr. Bizz used to have a Twitter, but he's in jail now, so he's not on for a week. He's not on Twitter. Guys, thank you very much. Much love for all of you.
Thank you. Shout out Banter fam. Thank you guys.
Ciao, guys. Love Banter Fridays. Let's start giving away shit. What should we give away? Okay, Fred says I've got a message here that says, okay, on the Banter Twitter after the show, we are going to be giving away Play Snook, which is a new game, NFTs for Play Snook. The first 400 people to register via the form on the Crypto Banter Twitter will get themselves 5 Snook NFTs. Snook is like that snake game, right? Which is launching, NFT snake game, which is launching. Do we have 5,000 likes? If we have 5,000 likes, we have time for one giveaway. We do have 5,000 likes. Then we should give away $200 worth of Matrix Swap, and let's also give away some penguin bottoms, which is the NFTs for the bottom of the penguin, basically. The penguin bottoms. So let's quickly give away some NFTs. Number 1. Okay, so Digital Kryptonian, you get yourself a Matrix Swap $200 pre-IDO NFT. Okay, 1 penguin bottoms to Natty G. You get yourself number 3 or number 4? What is it? Whatever it is, it's yours. Okay, Chelsea, you get Matrix Swap $200 pre-IDO. And that is it for today. Guys, I will see you again next week or on the weekend. If something happens, I'll be right here updating you. Otherwise, follow me on Twitter at CryptoManRan because lots of updates going on there. Follow Sheldon on Twitter at Sheldon_Sniper because he is updating his coin panel charts there. We shall see you guys again. What a great week it's been with the Banter fam. Love you guys madly. Hope I can change your lives. Hope we can all retire before 2022. See you again on Monday. Until then, trade well, my friends. Super bid, mark my words. Did you see during the show? I told you. I told Sheldon. I told him be careful. Bird is on $90. Donkey is on nearly $1. But Jiro is also running, and Charlie 3 is running.
Why is something happening with Bird? Is there an announcement coming up?
We can't say. We don't talk. We don't mention things that the birds tell us about Bird. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about it.
You know which coin has like a really big announcement coming up? Okay.
Which one?
Bird. Okay, so the coin